make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
The second half for today is the Resolution 19-154, determining to proceed with the construction of the Chardon Township wastewater treatment plant and sewer project to provide sanitary service to properties in the Berkshire Heights subdivision in Chardon Township in the Geauga County Sanitary Sewer District.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Do we need to fix it on the,
I'm sorry, what was that?
do we need to fix it on the, or no?
Can we question? Do we have a question here?
Yeah, there's questions out here.
This is Charles DeCillo, 10973 Helmet Drive. The opposition to this project was over 80% from the community. And we're just going ahead and ratifying this?
Hammering it through.
So if you want to go.
It's part and parcel of the process. We've had conversations, the process moving ahead to meet the legal findings and orders. There's a 10-day comment period following this.
Well, explain that. So a 10-day comment period to the
To file an appeal.
with the probate court.
Right, and that's the institution that handles that.
Okay.
But it has to be based on the same criteria from the public meeting, the boundaries, the necessity,
Okay, so all of the thing that all the opposition, all the work that
we
did
have
as a
it.
community.
We have it, and actually we've delayed this for 2 weeks, maybe 3, moving forward, and we've contacted several offices, Sherrod Brown's office, to look for funding, and process of reapproaching the EPA to see if there's any alternative. But right now, we're still subject to the findings and orders, so we have to move that process along to meet the deadline of the findings and orders, or be fined.
Okay.
So I guess at this point, the next step, as far as way that we have been made aware is you guys have to go for the probate court to take this next to handle the next step of this.
So now we need to get an attorney, is that correct?
I don't know if it's Gary. What do you?
I mean, you don't need an attorney to file something with the courts.
Well, most of those are not as bright as that. I think we need to get a legal attorney here. I think we need an extension of this program till we have a chance to meet as homeowners and decide what our next motion is going to be. We just had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and we voiced our objection to this. And I think we're not bright, okay? We're not brilliant people in that neighborhood. But now we've got Munson Township involved with the golf course who wants to put up 20 houses.
No, that is not happening.
Oh, they can't do it, no, unless they get in on the deal with us. And you people have met with them privately, apparently, because we weren't invited to that meeting, and made a deal with them.
No, we made no deal with regards to building houses.
Oh, you're going to hook them in, aren't you?
No, they're not being looked at.
The golf course.
What did the Maple Leaf have in it?
Could be tied in, but they have to pay their fair share.
How much are they
and they have
paying?
to pay for their extension all the way over to the clubhouse.
How much are they paying?
That's yet to be determined because they haven't.
Well, you determined our cost.
But they've expressed an interest to tie in.
I don't want them in that system. I want our system. You're charging us $28,000 a house.
It should be 42.
You know what our cost is. How come we don't know what their cost is?
Because they're not tying in at this time. They're not required to tie in under.
But you're allowing them to tie in. What are they putting towards this project?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing.
But when they do tie in, they'll be responsible for their portion of the cost.
And then do we get a rebate?
No, because their portion of the cost is already being borne by our department.
We need time to get ourselves an attorney and get ourselves organized and get to the courts with this system.
Yeah.
there's other areas,
Sir.
Avon for one, and there's, who's the other
Yeah.
one?
Olmsted.
Olmsted Falls, they're doing what you're trying to ram down our throats, okay?
The county's not trying to ram this down your
And
throat. This is the
they've
Ohio
capped it at
EPA.
$12,000 for each household.
Sir, this has been going on for 6 years. I'm sure
I
you're
know it
aware.
has, and so is everybody else's
That's right.
involved.
I mean,
okay?
this is not, we're not taking any delight
No,
and
but all of a
pleasure in
sudden it's
this.
on the front
But
burner.
this is the Ohio-
You laid low with it. I have an alternative
We have not
plan.
laid low. This thing has been, we've been trying to find every avenue to try and,
What's 1 month gonna hurt for us to get our act together?
we have deadline, the Ohio EPA has deadlines on the county
And-
where we're gonna start getting fined.
Yeah, EPA, we never see them.
No,
No, they're hiding.
and I encourage you to take this to the court.
I'm all for that,
Yeah.
but we need time to talk to our neighborhood.
Mhm.
And we gotta get a meeting hall so we can get our people together. Because we don't want to discuss it in your domain over here, because you guys are all for it, so.
No, we're
No,
not.
we're
I don't
No,
under-
no.
That's
No,
So
that's-
you
misunderstanding.
certainly came
not
across
true.
with a high buck, and you're ready to vote in favor of everything.
This is, again,
That is totally not true.
yeah,
that we
you're
are in
misrepresenting
favor
what
of
this board
That
has
is-
done. And I don't
We're
think you've been
asking for a
paying
month
attention for the
delay.
last 6 months either. So, this is,
You want
this
people-
thing, we have not been promoting this. This is not something,
Right.
Jerry and Water Resources and now Steve, now the new director, have exhausted every avenue to try and find grant relief, to find different ways to pay for this. They've searched up and down. They have fought the Ohio EPA. I don't know if you know the history of how this thing even launched off the ground, but it was,
I know
Jerry,
the whole
I'm
travesty.
history.
yeah,
It was a
yeah,
travesty
yes,
the way it happened.
yeah.
Steve,
And this
you've
is,
done a lot of great work, and I appreciate all your hard work. Problem is this, from the onset, from the very beginnings, this was mismanaged until Steve got involved. Steve is doing a great job. I have no problem with that. But this was mismanaged from the get-go. And we have to rely on our local government to be our voice, and fight our battles to the Ohio EPA. I know that there are state laws that are in place that supersede county laws and everything else.
Right.
But there has to be an option. There had, to the findings of the 5 or 6 test sites were localized around the immediate area. They didn't test the whole development, but with one broad brushstroke, EPA came in and said, we're just going to do this. And the previous director and the previous people that were taking care of this rolled over and played dead and said, sure, come on in EPA, we'll let you do your orders.
I don't think that,
I don't think that's quite true,
not
but-
fair. No, that's not a clear representation.
Just remember that the Ohio EPA is the executive agency for the federal EPA, so they have jurisdiction of Ohio on behalf of the federal EPA. So we're complying with that, and to be honest with you, if we were rushing it through, the original deadline, this plant and everything was supposed to be completed this past July. And there was no way we were going to meet that, so we extended the deadline out to the end of January 2021, which gave us, some time to breathe and trying to address the issue. But the process, as it stands within revised code, has to move along. No one up here takes delight. I mean, it's not us that's...
Is there any way, what is the deadline from the filing court, just so to be clear?
10 days, I believe.
The next 10 days? I mean, I hate to put the onus on you, but that's what I would be doing, is get this thing into...
We need to have a meeting. We
Yeah.
can't let this go forward until the neighborhood gets together and talks about this.
Right.
On what our next course of action should be.
Listen, and as far as the whole part of you saying you couldn't have a meeting here, we will accommodate you guys, no problem, to
Yeah.
have a meeting place here. We're not working against you, and I hope you understand that. I mean, Steve and I had a conversation with this 2 weeks ago. He's as frustrated as every one of you are also, because our backs are up against the wall. But what we're going to we're putting ourselves in a situation that we're going to end up getting sanctioned with these fines, and pretty much they are a situation that they're non-fightable, and it becomes a situation we're using basically taxpayers' dollars now to basically pay these fines that we have no say in, and it's listen, This is the problem, and I think that I think it's pretty clear of a lot of this resonates over the damage that we had over the prior administration of 8 years of a lot of control that they have continued to give the EPA to control our lives. You know what I mean? And it's a situation where once the damage is done, this is the end result, that they have the ability to basically control every step of this function. So I just want you to know, there's not one guy up here that is not understanding and supporting of you guys, but our hands are tied.
Who had the meeting with the Legend Lakes Golf Course? Where
There
that
was no
held?
meeting. I think what you're interpreting is the property that was purchased to put the plant on.
Not just the plant, they had an attorney and everybody. You guys met with him someplace.
The attorney is,
Todd Peterson.
yeah, Todd Peterson represents the owner of that parcel who
Yeah,
owns.
they're
I think he's an owner, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's an owner. He
Part
owns.
owner.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was part of the real estate purchase.
Yeah, and what was discussed at the meeting?
The purchase price of getting the property appraised and tearing down the burned down
And about the
property.
20 homes?
No, never talked to him
Munson
about.
won't let him put the 20 houses up because
Sir,
of the
I mean,
sewer
you're-
system.
That's old news.
They're not-
No,
yeah.
old
it's not
news.
parceled off.
I'm
Yeah.
pointing it out.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah,
That
no,
might be
there's
something
there's
that
no
was taken
plan
up
for
with
any
Munson.
20
That was
houses to be
yes, there
tied
is.
into that plan.
That was something that was taken by the golf course to go, went to Munson Township to see if that was gonna be a feasible option for them.
What's
They
the
have to
road,
put in houses.
what's the road they're putting in?
Where's
What
the?
road?
What road?
There's a road cut in off of Fowler Mills,
Yep.
back in that direction.
Yeah, back in there.
They've been laying,
Yeah, I saw that too, I see,
Asphalt
because I
grindings
passed on
in
our
there.
way in here, they put asphalt grindings on there, I don't know what that is. You know, we could call Munson and they would probably be able to give you a better indication, but that's a, perfect situation there, that Munson is actually responsible for that. We really don't know a lot what the townships do within their townships, of what variances they give, what they allow to do. But I know where you're talking about, exactly right there on the corner by Thwing and
Right.
Fowler's Mill.
My concern and fear for the county is that the Ohio EPA and the feds are kind of waiting in the wings, waiting for a lot of these. You're not this is the tip of the iceberg, I feel. There's multiple pockets throughout this county where they're going to want to do the exact same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
And
Then why don't we get the whole county
Yeah.
together and do it all at one time?
yeah, well,
seriously, I mean, we
Yeah.
have to be able to stand up.
Yeah.
If the EPA had their way, they'd sewer everything.
Yeah.
And to the cost that's egregious. I mean,
It would
it's-
basically it would shut our county down, and they could care less.
Right. That's the
There'd
problem.
be an uproar though.
The thing is in our community, we don't fall under the typical. Most of the residents of our community are retirees on fixed income.
Yeah.
When I walked around with the opposition letters, I met a lot of my neighbors, and I've lived there for 20 years, and I've never met all of them, but I met a lot of great people, and they're scared because they can barely afford their medications,
Yep.
barely afford to heat their homes. They're keeping it at 60 degrees in the wintertime because they can barely afford to heat their homes.
and we've got a, I see all those letters of plea, and it's, it is frustrating. We've heard you, and I have a file with all of your requests for us to do something. But like Ralph said, I feel like we truly have our hands tied on this. From a county government standpoint, I mean, us as elected officials, I mean, we could stand in your corner and vocally support you, but as far as any legal motions, I think we've exhausted them to try and find a way to help, and
Why is-
financially.
Well,
Why is the
Financially.
EPA not here? Ever. They
Yeah,
just write us,
yeah.
but they don't see how it affects the people when they
And
write
they're
their
not
orders.
elected officials either.
Yeah, and
No.
they could care less. To be quite honest with you, they're cowards. Like we're here. I was at your meeting before. It's a situation. We'll be the face, of the position. And we don't have a problem telling you, this is where we're at. We support you, and we don't have a problem. Just like Tim said, to stand up and verbally tell them that we don't agree with this. But it's a situation you can't. I mean, Jerry dealt with this for a lot of years. Steve's dealing with now. You try to deal with the EPA, it's a hiding game is what it is. And they basically submit their orders, and that's it.
Who do we get a hold of, Ralph, to get the meeting room? How do you go about that?
We can
So-
arrange to get that.
We can, we'll arrange it. This is Christine, our clerk.
You
If
see
you
her?
call Christine, here at the office, or call Steve, either one of us, we'll make, this room might be a little small, but
Yeah.
we'll make the building
You
aid
saw it was
available for
over
you
there
guys, no
before.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah, so just if you get a hold of Christine, and she'll make the arrangements for you, it's that simple.
You're at,
I'm here.
you're right here, okay, all right,
Yeah.
so.
As I stated before, when I met with the EPA, they pretty much told me, too bad, we're gonna do it anyway.
So it doesn't matter what we do, it's
They
going to
said,
happen,
they
so we
said,
might as
because I
well
talked to them, I said,
suck it up and,
I have a septic system. I said I've had it independently tested. It works fine as designed. It's a newer system,
ours is
and
too.
and I said, and they said, well, you might have that. And I said, well, I have a permit as long as my system functions as designed. I have no problems. They said, yeah, but we have Ohio Revised Code that states if there's sewers put in, you have to connect within 1 year or you'll be fined.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So they pretty much are screwing us.
And here's the
Exactly.
other part of this too, is I'll tell you, like, I think you need to get with, and I don't have a problem reaching out to, our senators and our representatives here within the state, because ultimately, those laws are really not something that we have the authority of passing or changing or doing anything with, but they are. And I think that they that they need to be well aware of the situation if they aren't already. But they should be here also, to be quite honest with you.
Yes.
Well, last night I had Channel 3, I did an interview with Channel 3 about this, and they'll be broadcasting it on at 6 o'clock this evening. How do we help you as our elected officials?
I think
How do we
exactly
help
what you guys are doing right now in strength in numbers, because I hate to say it, but there's too many times when you approach these situations and you just have one mouthpiece. They don't take it serious. When there's a whole community of people like this, that it makes a difference. And I can tell you, being here almost 8 years, this is really the very first issue, that second issue actually, when I first came in, the whole heroin epidemic, that was an outpour of support because it was affecting so many people with kids dying. But this here has been really the second largest that I've seen of a community getting together to pursue something. And I think a lot of it too, credit to you and everybody else, but you definitely, I know you put a ton of work in going to all these homes and trying to do a good job, and I applaud you for it.
Well, there are a lot of people that can't
We're
get out.
speaking up for our neighborhood is what we're
Right.
speaking up
Right.
for, but we need time to talk to these people, get them
Yeah.
acclimated to what's going
Can I
on.
offer a suggestion and maybe ask a question here? I don't think we need to have the meeting first in order to contact an attorney. I would suggest that we may try and reach out to a local attorney and get advice on the matter. I would imagine, I'm guessing, that the first visit is usually not charged, it's an informative one. Maybe the attorney would come to a meeting of the group of our
Yeah.
owners, and I think we've got time in 10 days to get that ball rolling.
But we need.
As I mentioned at the previous meeting, there are some flaws in the definition of the sewer district. It was claimed to be the Berkshire Hills development. There are several houses in that development that were not included in it. So there might be some legal technicalities that would allow some, delays, while those issues are researched in that. Does anybody have a suggestion, or where would we turn to get advice on who would be a good attorney for us?
I mean, I'd be happy to meet you after this meeting to tell you who I think.
Okay.
Okay. That would be great.
And just to let you know, I mean, we're following the code right now with the process, and I've talked to Chuck several times about it. So our hands are tied with that, we're following the process. But that doesn't constrain what the county does or what we do as a community. We have interaction, like I said, with Sharon Brown's office, and his aide contacted me back, and they're ferreting out information right now on funding, first of all, additional funding possibly, and also if there are some other mechanisms we can do. And I sent that out last week. Right now I'm crafting a letter to the EPA looking for other opportunities or alternatives to that, and I'm working on that with Jerry Morgan. So we're truly not blowing sunshine. We're really trying really hard to get this done. And the true cost of this whole project is about $42,000 a resident, and big deal. It doesn't matter to you when you're paying 28, right?
You're darn right. When you can get a septic tank, the new approved septic tank, that you're using that unit throughout Geauga County. And I just talked to the guy by accident. I didn't know it at the time. I said, how much would one of these package individual systems cost that you're putting in Geauga County? He said, oh, around $20,000. And he says, and I told him about our development, and he says, oh my. He said, if I were to get a whole group of them together, he said, I could probably run around $16,000. In other words, if you have a whole group of them. And now you're trying to ram 28,000.
Well, plus
They're not ramming the EPA, right?
Well, he is.
No, it's the cost, but,
it's
I would
harder to
rather
build
everybody put their own brand new septic
Brand new
in
system in.
for 16 than spend 28,
No,
plus
understand.
connection fees closer to 38.
Well, not to mention the bi-monthly charge that
Right.
you get for the sewer and all that.
Right. Sure. I would rather do that. Your money ahead.
What's his name?
Hey, Steve, my recollection is you have the contact information for everybody in that project, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's something you can share with us?
It's public information, yeah.
Okay, because there's a lot of non-resident, or several non-resident owners
There are a couple, yeah.
that us going door to door don't ever get to. All right, thank you.
Who's gonna buy a home in Geauga County with the threat of this happening? And that could happen
This is statewide, yeah.
to any of us.
Yeah.
And I think in Geauga County, if and I'll stand up, if more people, not just the development, stood up, you'd be a formidable entity.
Well, in our case, what they're asking for, $28,000, is over 25% of the value of most of those homes in that area.
It would devastate me.
I mean, and that's who we're sticking up for, is our neighbors. I mean, we've got widows there that've lost their husbands, they're there by themselves. These guys don't understand that. They're living in $500,000 houses and
Who's these guys? Stop it. I mean, it's easy to seek a fight. A fight is easy to seek, but I mean, we gotta have a common.
What's
Chief, the thing is, it's not your fault. We understand that.
the
The thing is it's not your fault. You're dealing the cards that have been dealt. The problem is our elected officials, we have
That's
to
right.
have a voice.
No, I agree with you.
We have to have a voice.
We're responsible.
I guess